Finally, today we are kind of previewing what we could expect in March Madness, and we reach one of the most popular segments here at the Daly Dose because we kind of do this every year. We are going to pick a few Cinderella teams. They could make the tournament. Now, I'll be honest, this is prior to Selection Sunday, so some of the teams on my list might get left out because these are definitely not blue blood programs that I'm going to give you. I'm not going to give you those. I'm not going to give you the big names. I'm going to give you some teams that I think could get into the tournament, and they could make some noise. And here at the Daly Dose, over the past, 7 years, you can go back and listen. We have picked a number of Cinderella teams that have busted up some brackets. So right now, we're going to see if we can keep that streak rolling and pick a few more teams that you might want to keep an eye on. They might not have the big name, but they might have the big game that you are going to want to pick in your March Madness bracket. And first up, I will give you this team, the Murray State Racers. They are a team that has already punched their ticket to the big dance. They won the Ohio Valley Conference Tournament. Now, you might hear that, and you might think, okay, well, big deal. What's the Ohio Valley? Who cares? Well, the Ohio Valley has a chance to send 3 teams to the dance because Morehead State is very solid. Belmont is very, very good. They're at least in the conversation. I'm not saying they're going to make it, but they'll be close. Well, Murray State went undefeated in the Ohio Valley. And one of the keys for Murray State, the Racers crash the boards hard. They are one of the best rebounding teams in the entire country at both ends of the floor rebounding. They move the ball well on offense. They force you to chase them. I'm telling you, be very, very careful of Murray State. They can make some noise in this tournament. Another team that could bust some brackets if they make it to the dance, and that comes from the Summit League, and that is the South Dakota State Jackrabbits. The Summit League is another league that has more talent than you might think, and the Jackrabbits have dominated. Now, a lot of times we look at some of these smaller teams, we go, well, they just don't have the horses. They just don't have the people. They're not good enough. Well, I'm telling you right now, South Dakota State has people. Baylor Shearman, a guy who is probably going to win Conference Player of the Year, he led the team in scoring, rebounding, assists, and steals. Hey, the Rabbits can flat out score. They average 87 points per game. If you come into that first round game against South Dakota State and you're flat, yeah, the Jackrabbits are sending you home. Might want to keep an eye on South Dakota State this year. Now, next up, I could easily go to the Missouri Valley Conference. I could give you a team like Northern Iowa. I could give you a Loyola Chicago. I could even give you like a Drake. But honestly, those teams don't even feel much like a Cinderella to me anymore. They can go out and win like almost every year. We'll see one of those teams win. So instead, I'm going to go to a conference that doesn't make all that much noise, and that is the American East. But you might remember a team from the American East back around 2005 that beat Syracuse. They had a big man named Taylor Coppenrath. They had a three-point shooter named TJ Sorrentine. Yes, I am talking about those Vermont Catamounts. The Catamounts have another pretty good big man in Ryan Davis. Davis just finds ways to score around the basket, and he's got some veterans around him. Vermont plays defense. They move the ball well. This group of upperclassmen might be able to pull some upsets. You better keep an eye on Vermont this year. Our next team up might be a little bit nervous this Selection Sunday because they didn't win the tournament. We're going to have to see if they get in. But I believe that Conference USA team North Texas will get in. And if they do, they might be a problem because North Texas knows how to play defense. The Mean Green allow just 55 points per game. Then they just have to manufacture 56 points for themselves and they beat you. Again, this is a team that has upperclassmen. They're led by seniors Thomas Bell and J.J. Murray. They have junior Tyler Perry. When the tournament starts, we know a lot of teams are a little bit tight. They're a little bit nervous. Your shot might be a little bit off. You might be missing some of those little bunnies that you usually hit at home. Well, North Texas doesn't depend on hitting those shots. North Texas just shuts you down defensively, and then you're in for a dogfight all night. Keep an eye on the Mean Green of North Texas. Finally, I will go full homer here, but it doesn't mean it isn't true because the Colorado State Rams are from the Mountain West, a conference that usually doesn't get a ton of respect, but that doesn't mean they can't play with the big boys. Get this. We talked earlier about quadrants on the show. Quadrant 1 means really good wins. Quadrant 2 is like the next level of good wins. Well, CSU has more quadrant 1 wins than UCLA. They have more quadrant 2 wins than both Duke and Villanova. The Rams are led by head coach Nico Medved, who you might remember from Drake or even from Furman. Medved has a pretty scrappy team, though. He's got junior David Roddy, who is a little bit of Charles Barkley. Like, he can shoot it, but he also likes to body you up. He likes to drive into the paint and dunk on your head. The Rams also have pretty good guards in Kendall Moore and Isaiah Stevens. The Rams, I believe, need to have a solid showing in the Mountain West Tournament. But if they get it, they're going to be dancing. And if they end up dancing against you, that might be bad news for your team. And if you end up picking against Colorado State in your bracket, you might get yourself in trouble, because I believe Colorado State is a team that can make some noise in this tournament. They could bust up some brackets. You know, every year March Madness is wild. It's unpredictable. But this year somehow feels even more so. We don't have those huge, heavy favorites this year, but we have a number of teams that could get hot, and they could roll all the way to the title. Selection Sunday is this weekend. The brackets will be announced around 4 p.m. The first 4 is going to be played on Tuesday and Wednesday. The first round will be played on Thursday and Friday, with the second rounds to follow on Saturday and Sunday. Hey, March Madness is truly a wonderful, wonderful time of the year. Okay, YouTube, make sure you go over and check out the rest of the podcast. This week on The Dose, we have a little bit of NFL news to discuss, but then, like we did here on the video, we are digging into March Madness. Which teams are actually capable of winning it all? We also look at some teams that just might let you down if you pick them in your bracket. Plus, our Daly Dose Top 5 is looking at 5 bracket-busting teams from the past that probably shouldn't have ever been in the tournament to begin with. So be sure that you go out and check out the rest of the podcast. I'll leave a link here in the comments on YouTube for you. But also, make sure when the brackets come out, you go join our Daly Dose March Madness Bracket Challenge. Just go to DailyDoseSports.com. You can find the details there. It's very easy to sign up. But you could be the winner of a new Daly Dose basketball t-shirt. So make sure you sign up and play our Daly Dose Bracket Challenge. It's free to play. Just go sign up. It's super easy. We will leave a link on DailyDoseSports.com. So make sure you stop by there. Hope you all are doing well. I will see you all next Wednesday. Have a great week and enjoy Selection Sunday.